it could have been any boss, and you make it that boss. You know what? No, let's just skip straight into. So Resident Evil 6 has 4 different stories. I've only played as Leon and Chris, but from what I've heard, Chris is the best. So I've seen the best of the game. It is not that bad, but let's get started with the best and work our way down. Chris, not many people do like it. It's mid at best. Not much on this one. The bad parts are more the game than the story, but we'll get into that later. So Chris, mid, not much to say, but then there's Jack/Sherry's story, and it's the second best to most people because it's a mix of using the okay stealth of the game and then combat used okay in the story. And then there's Ada, and there's some things about why people like this. One, it's Ada. 2, they also didn't like it because of the story in general, but Ada. But now on to the worst story, Leon. Not many people liked it because it's mostly got a super slow pace and the story not being that great. And so there's the campaigns. And now it's got a slow story, not that good. And the game always takes place with a flashback. And then flash forward, and then you get, flash forward, I guess. And then you go back to the past, and then you get where you were meant to start 3 to 4 hours ago. So that's the main part with this story. But then there's the gameplay. Now, there's a lot wrong with this, so let's get down to it. Resident Evil 6, the way you control the characters, is just not good enough. It's not rage bad, but there's also a lot of ways that they could have done it better. The guns is one of the main parts. It's not very good. And then you got one thing. The main thing in Resident Evil 5 was it wasn't that pushy on the co-op. But Resident Evil 6 makes it really hard to deal with the co-op. They're stupider and even less intelligent than Sheva can be. And that can be a record depending on how lucky you got with your Sheva intelligence. But yeah, co-op's pretty forced. The enemies are bad. Oh, speaking of the enemies, let's get down to Resident Evil 6. Sometimes they take one bullet. Sometimes they take your whole clip. So the HP is super random, or should I say the crit / special attack / a damage done per bullet is super random. If you get one shot, you can kill like 20 with one shot, and then you can't kill another one unless you use like 30 bullets. And the enemies in RE1, 2, and 3 are meant to look scary. And Resident Evil 6 pushed that not scary too much that Resident Evil fans hated it. And, well, that was basically the story too. They pushed being too serious. People didn't hate it. But if you think it's just people who don't like the game because they're Resident Evil fans, well, then here's a clip of me and my friend who's a Doom player talking about why he also doesn't like Resident Evil. So to any of you who are still somehow watching this video but disagree with me for some reason, here's a guy who, what games do you play again? I don't really know you. Totally.
Doom, Wolfenstein, and Minecraft.
Yeah, that last one really correlates with the rest of them. But
Yep.
yeah, so he's not a Resident Evil diehard fan. I've only managed to get him into like one of my YouTubers. So, wow, great comment, dude.
Yep.
Anyway, so now what would you say you don't like about the story that you've played like 20 minutes of?
Oh, well, not too many details I can give there, but I would say the intro is kind of amusing to me.
And which campaign have you played?
I believe it was Leon's.
All right, and let's see. On my totally real list, that's not just a script that I'm reviewing. So what do you think of like the controls and like camera angles and stuff like that?
That's pretty much where I quit there. Yeah, the camera angles. Oh God.
What about firing
I'd rather have glass shards in my eyes.
Okay. Well, what did you think of the
you know, gun mechanic.
I mean, I like guns in games, but I don't know. Resident Evil guns just feel, like different.
I'd
Like,
ask you to specify Resident Evil 6 before I have to ask them to put their pitchforks down by bribing them.
Oh,
People are really sensitive to this Resident Evil 6.
yeah.
Oh, hey,
and I mean,
you're knocking on my door?
I kind of see why, people think really, hard about Resident Evil 6. Like, there's people who like it, I think. And
Not
people who
really,
hate
but
it.
okay.
I know.
Oh, by the way, guys, for no reason at all, instead of doing this like just straight talking, we're just playing Minecraft while talking about Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, there's your proof, people who are for some reason still watching this video, even if you disagree with me. Anyway, so he hates it. Resident Evil fans hate it. Well, anyway, on to part.
I know the transition, but I just want to say, sorry that audio quality was so bad for me. I had to use my phone to record it because reasons. Yeah. So, on to part 5, like the title card just said. So, Resident Evil 6, the fans and non-fans of Resident Evil all hated, mostly, well, not all, but mostly hated Resident Evil's thing. And one last thing, Capcom. If you ever make a boss with no clothes and rendered stuff, I will find out the nuclear launch code.